Everything I'm doing is Project X. I'm practicing on myself. So when I come tell you that this shit gonna work, I'm telling you this shit gonna work. This is the formula.
You just have to be interesting. Somebody has to really be drawn into you on social media, and then they care about the music. That's backwards as fuck. But
you just need to put in more work so that people approach you to be a part of your shit.
Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Producergrind Podcast. Alan Carrington with me as always.
What's going down, bro? I'm fucking with that shirt, bro.
Oh shit, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Macy's.
Yeah. So imaginary player shit.
Yeah. Macy's, bro.
Claim it, bro. I claim it. But listen, man, we got a dope guest on the schedule today. This man has set the visual standard and shot for Young Dolph and PRE, Key Glock, Kodak Black, Kevin Gates, Lil Uzi Vert, A Boogie with the Hoodie, PNB Rock, Migos, Offset, Gucci Man, Fetty Wap, Post Malone, Flatbush Zombies, Lil Dicky, Snoop Dogg, YG, Chance the Rapper, and YFN Lucci. Please welcome to the show, ShotBySpencer.
Yo.
Hey.
How you feeling today, bro?
Great.
Yeah. You want to scoot up a little bit just like this mic?
Feeling great.
Yeah. So for anyone that that doesn't know,
Lift the mic up a little bit, bro. Yeah, cool.
all right, yeah. So anyone that doesn't know or familiar with your work, you want to give them a little background of who you are, how you got to your success, the events that led to it.
Right. All right. So I'm Spencer. I go by ShotBySpencer. I've been going by that name for about 3 years. I started West Palm Beach. I used to skateboard. So I used to just use a VHS or high def VHS and just like film my friends, everything like that. I had a film camera, took photos, just more on like a hobby level.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and my grandpa, both photographers. So they kind of got me into it. That's what got me started. I would play around with their cameras. My grandpa shot weddings. My dad shot nature.
Oh, okay.
That's dope.
So it's like in your blood to be a photographer.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, because that led me to the next question is like, how did you choose to get into photography or like just about your journey into photography, really? Like, was it just like you wanted to follow in your parents' foot or your dad and your grandpa's footsteps, or did you just decide like, oh no?
Really? They didn't like push it on me or anything like that. Like they weren't like, they were actually like more, my dad really pushed me more like into just following, like going to like something more steady. So it's kind of like iffy, but yeah, so they just always cameras were around. So like I kind of just adapted to that and like took photos. Wasn't really serious about it. Really wasn't serious about it until I got to college. I first went for fire EMT.
You went to college for fire EMT?
Yeah, I wasn't even like taking photos like too much. I just had had like a camera around, but I went to fire EMT and I just ended up changing my mind like right after I graduated. Before like I was started looking for the job and was like, this really isn't for me. Like it's not where my head's at.
So you mean like fire EMT, like a firefighter,
paramedic,
First responder.
Talk about a switch up, right? Talk about a switch. Well, what made you like in college want to go ahead and start doing photography? Like, why not become a rapper? Or why not produce? Like, what brought you to, or what pulled you to photography?
Really, it was just like the art form. Like, I was just something that I really enjoyed. Like, I always just did it on my free time. Like West Palm Beach, they have a cool downtown scene, so I was always going out taking photos. Like the urban aspect, like city stuff, like photos of my friends. I really wasn't interested in like after like the fire and stuff. Like I enjoyed it, but like I really wasn't like, that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my career. Like not for me. Like it's super like depressing seeing people hurt and like just the stress, like people getting like just seeing all that like is damaging, I think, to your mind. So it was just something that I really wasn't interested in. So I was like, I got to figure out something to do. I was already comfortable with photography, so I was like, I'm not going to go to school for this. Like, it'd be a waste of my time. I'd rather go to something that I can land a job right out of college and then transition my work into that. So the only art that I wanted to take was like graphic design.
And that's real like essential for photography though.
Yeah. So
Did you end up getting a job out of college in doing graphic design? Or?
No, funny story. I dropped out like a week before my final to go on tour with Gates.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So I just have to finish up a math class and then I get my degree for that.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, of course.
That's dope.
I worked way too hard on those 2 years. Too many early mornings and hours not to get that.
Where'd you go to school?
Santa Fe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, in Gainesville, Florida.
So, when you decided like you're going to go full-time videography and stuff like that, how did, what were those first couple steps to getting, client stuff? Like what does it take for, videographers to, pull in business?
Really, like, it was just like a learning process. Nobody really like helped me out or guided me. YouTube was my best friend. So I just went on, I watched a bunch of tutorials, everything like that. As far as the business, I kind of learned business aspect in like graphic design, but really just like took myself getting out there, like getting to know my work, like finding out what to charge, like networking, everything like that. But it was a huge process. Like I left West Palm and I came to Gainesville, Florida to go to college, but I didn't even know I was going to like officially go. Like I just wanted to get out of West Palm. So I went up, I lived on my brother's couch for like 6 months until I could get like on my feet up there. I quit my job. I was working for AT&T at the time. And I just moved up there. And like once I got there, I started looking at the community college and seeing like what opportunities that they had in the arts. That's whenever I figured out that I wanted to do graphic design and everything like that. So just started going through the process. I wasn't even doing video at all. It's funny how I started doing video. Like,
how did you lead into a video?
I was doing photo and graphic design, right? I was interested in video, but I didn't have the gear to do it. And this artist from Gainesville, his name's Lil Po, he hit me on Instagram, was like, can you film a music video? I was low on rent at the time. I was like, yes. So I went out there, I shot a video. I came home, I downloaded Premiere. I watched YouTube tutorials on how to edit the video. And then we put that out.
That's real learn as you go.
Right. And then since then, like a lot of people like started hitting me up, like asking me for videos. So I was like, okay, like this is like obviously like the right time. Like, so I just started like learning quickly. And,
what kind of camera were you shooting on?
Right then it was a Nikon D3100.
Oh, okay.
It's like entry level basic DSLR.
Gotcha. So when you did decide to go into videography, like, did you ever like come across like, big artists? And are you the type of person that goes up and, tries to network and I shoot videos and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah, definitely. In Gainesville, there was 2 clubs at the time. So I figured like they always had artists coming in because they have the college crowd and everything like that. So they're always like have a lot of entertainment in the city. So after I shot that video, I also had some friends, part of a group, L&EM, Late Night Early Mornings. That was who like I really started working with. Nick Swain, Jay, Dylan, Cosby, like all of them. So they were rapping. I was filming videos for them and like doing like vlog type stuff and just like learning with them. And then I also was just shooting nature stuff in Gainesville. Like they have alligators, like beautiful nature, like trails and stuff. So I was really undecided. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I started going to the clubs, networking. I found like an opportunity on Craigslist to shoot like $50 a show. So I just went and I took that and I started like meeting with people, like networking like that. And that was just my entry to the club. Like once I got in there, I knew what content I had to get them. But my goal was to meet an artist, meet their managers, meet their teams, meet their DJs, network with them because I knew my whole purpose. Like I wasn't just going to the club trying to shoot. Like I knew like as soon as I started doing that, like my goal was to like work with bigger artists and like this is my way to meet them pretty much. Definitely, like on a professional level.
What made you want to go like after artists or like what drew you to the music industry? You feel
I always watched music videos. Like I've been watching like BET Jams, like MTV like videos. Like I've always been a fan of hip hop. I've always watched the music videos coming up. Like so once I started doing video and like photo and I started like shooting clubs, like I realized like this is like an opportunity. Like it wasn't like realistic like to think until it started happening. And I was like, okay, this can really happen. So now I have to like go really hard for this. So
did you know like video? So you said that you were talking about your passion. Did you know that videography at that time? Did you know that that's what you wanted to do? Like take photos of artists. I
knew like photo wise, I knew that I wanted to like at least like start taking, because like I was following like some people at the time, like Joe Spike, like I watched his videos. Jared Pullen, I would watch him on YouTube. Like Cam Kirk, I was like a huge fan of his photography. So like there's like a lot of inspirations, like, okay, like that's dope. Like I would want to do what they're doing. So like I would just, once I started shooting the shows and stuff, like, okay, I was like, all right, so how can I start like photographing these artists outside of the shows? Because really anybody can go shoot a show or a concert with a camera. Like there's a way. Like,
how long did you work at AT&T?
2 years.
So you were used to getting a check.
Like I was making good, decent money.
So then
ups and downs though. Like I've been in food industry. Like I worked so many jobs. Like
so you quit AT&T. What's the time like before you're really, really able to, pay your bills? Or was there not a big gap where you're really able to make the transition easy?
While I was in Gainesville going to college, I'm not gonna lie, I was like really struggling. Like whenever I moved to Gainesville, the AT&T that I was working at it wasn't corporate. It was like an authorized retailer. Oh, okay. So I tried to transfer to AT&T in Gainesville and I couldn't get a job. So I started working at Tijuana Flats. Like I was doing prep. Okay. Like I was cutting like vegetables like every morning at 6:30 in the morning. Like it wasn't, it was like a struggle, but it was really only until like I started like getting into the clubs, shooting the shows. There were no like really like, there's a lot of artists in Gainesville like up and coming, like trying to make it. So there's always like work, and there weren't too many photographers and videographers in the city that were like doing stuff. So it was like, as soon as I started doing that and like even making like a small local name for myself, it was like I was getting hit up. So like I was staying busy. I ended up quitting Tijuana. I was going to college. I was doing videos. And then during college, we had to get an internship. So I did the internship for a medical company, and I ended up getting a job after that for a real estate company. So I was just doing like graphic design, like on and off, really just trying to figure out like what I wanted to do.
For the medical company, real estate company, were you doing graphic design or something?
Yeah, graphic design full time. Yeah, no photography really. Medical company I worked for a year, and then they had a conference in Boston, and I did some photography then. That was like really the first time that I ever traveled outside of like Florida too much. Like I never really.
So like for music producers, like we always hear like music producers want to move to Atlanta because like this is where the scene is popping. But it sounds like it worked in your favor, worked in your advantage to be like the only videographer in Florida. Would you recommend that the videographers that
there's one really in Gainesville? There's a bunch in Florida. Yeah, there's like, still like some.
I guess what I'm asking is just like, is it more? I know there's more opportunity when you came to Atlanta, but it's not like necessary to just move.
No,
right?
no, definitely not necessary.
So if someone's in like another state, like in Iowa or something, they want to do what you're doing. Like,
Iowa, if you're in Iowa, then you might need to move to Atlanta.
Okay. We be going to Iowa.
Right. Yeah, but like it really just depends on your area, you know. Like you don't have to necessarily move somewhere. Like I would say move somewhere whenever business is already bringing you there, like to a certain extent. Like you can grind and like really make stuff happen for you. Like if you're like in different cities like Houston, Dallas, like
and I guess
Austin,
different cities have different things to offer too. Like
there's always going to be like if I'm just talking music wise. If you're just like with artists and stuff like that, like you don't have to just necessarily move to LA or Atlanta like to make stuff happen for yourself. Like you can, like it's a good decision. There's a lot of work out here. It just depends on how hard you want to go and like how much you want to network and everything like that. But
that pulls us a little ahead because I wanted to look at, you were telling us about how your grandfather and your father did like weddings and stuff like that. Yeah. We're going to kind of ask like, okay, you were able to flex the skill set in other industries, right? So do you do any other events or any things outside the hip hop culture, weddings, anything like that? If the money is right,
that'd be some fire wedding shots.
If the money's right, I shot Kevin Gates' wedding. So that's how I got in. Like that was the first official job that I like worked for him. So
what was it like when you went from like taking pictures in concerts? 'Cause I heard somewhere that you were like sneaking into clubs to just take photos. Yeah. And then what was it like when Kevin Gates reached out to you? What was that moment like?
Well, actually the first show of Gates, I snuck in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I snuck in the show and I took the photos, and then afterwards I edited them. That like right after the show, I went home, edited the photos, so I would get them out first, and I DM'd them to him on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
He saw the photos, he started following me, he reposted them, he tagged my account.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna wonder. We were asking like, how does an artist, they can hand out CDs, but how does a photographer, be like, yo, here's a photo? How did you go about doing that?
Really? Well, it's like you got to think. Every artist, every DJ, everybody wants content. So, and if you have good content, they're going to appreciate it. It's just about going in the right way. Like at that time, I was still learning. So like that was my method. It's just like, okay, how can I get a hold of them? DM on my Instagram. That's pretty much like the quickest way to do it. I didn't even have Twitter. I really don't even still have Twitter, but I just DM'd it to him on Instagram. The second time he came back to Gainesville, like 7 months later, I had messaged him. I don't think he saw it though. But whenever I got there, I met his photographer at the time, which was Ron. Ron's his DJ now. So Ron was shooting, and me and him just started chopping up, talking about lens, lighting, everything like that, and got the contact. And then just like they left, they posted the photos and stuff like that. And then Burden, which is an artist out of Florida, he had a feature with Gates like 8 months later. Like, and I went to the studio with them, and that's like right before I left Gainesville. Like I went to the studio with them. I met Gates there. He told me he was gonna hit me up. Like a month later, I got like hit up to do the wedding photo shoot.
Did you end up going on tour with them?
Yeah, I did the wedding, and then once I did the wedding, they offered me like the tour position, everything like that. So I started going on tour with them. everything. So,
What's that like? Like the whole tour life, like being a photographer on tour life.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely like something new to me. Like I said, like I hadn't really like traveled too much like outside the city. So just going to all the different places, all the different venues, radio interviews, just it was a great experience.
Kevin Gates seems like he has a certain kind of energy, like a positivity, like a certain self-assuredness, right?
Definitely.
Do you find really yourself like as an artist yourself, do artist personality rub off on you, or does that influence your art or kind of the way you might approach a situation?
I would say, yeah, it definitely rubs off on you. So if you're around a positive artist who's like very positive and uplifting and everything like that, motivating, it's definitely going to motivate you to go harder. I've never really worked with a negative artist, but I can imagine working with a negative artist or somebody that's down or however has certain like issues and stuff, I'm sure it affect your work negatively.
I had just saw a clip because here's what, like, content is important for so many reasons. But if you're doing it the right way, it really touches people. There's been something I've been using personally that he said, and I'm wondering if you shot the piece. There was a vlog where he was like, yo, before you can move on to the next level of your life, you got to let go of everything from your old life. And that's really been touching me. Did you shoot that piece?
Which one is
it was titled as like the first vlog he's done since he got out.
Since he got out? No, I didn't. My buddy Nicky Films did that.
Okay,
that's who's been running with him right now.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a dope piece.
Yeah.
But
I saw that and I really like, that's true. I really believe in that.
He's very inspirational. So I want to get to, our homie on the video team, Samo, man, was out at the video shoot the other night with, you did it with Dolph, Offset, and Key Glock, and he told us a story about a stripper who fell off the pole and busted her head. Can you please elaborate on that situation?
All right, yeah. So that was like on our, like one of our first takes outside. But she's a soldier though. She kept going. Like we didn't even like she paused for like 2 seconds and like just kept dancing. So like
she kept going because it went viral too.
It's not. She didn't hit her head and just knock out, and that was the end. Like 2 seconds after that video ended, like she kept dancing.
Bounced up.
But she did hit her head.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, bro. You can hear that shit in the video.
It was a clunk.
Yeah, you can hear it was like metal plate on the bottom too. I was like, she got a
everything stopped for
concussion.
a second. Yeah.
It's crazy. Artists look back, I was like, damn, she all right?
Yeah, they checked on her. She was straight, and then
All right, that brings us to Overrated, Underrated on the Producergrind Podcast with ShotBySpencer. Overrated, Underrated, where we present 5 topics to you, our guest. We simply give you the topics. You answer whether you think it's overrated or underrated. If we think it merits further discussion, we'll ask you to explain. So are you ready to play Overrated, Underrated on the Producergrind Podcast, ShotBySpencer?
let's go.
Let's go. Overrated, Underrated, film cameras.
Right now, I appreciate them, but right now it's overrated just because everybody thinks that they have to shoot film to be in. I don't know. If you love it and you're passionate about it and you really want to shoot film, then go ahead and start shooting film. Like,
give me a pro and
don't
give me
do
a
it.
con.
Don't just start shooting film because you see some of your favorite photographers do it on Instagram. Just like, oh, I got to shoot that to do. And like, it's best to stay true to yourself. And like, if you're in the beginning phase and you're trying to find your style, that's cool. But if you already have like a name for yourself and like trying to switch, I don't know. It's right. I love film. That's how I got started. I appreciate it. I'm definitely like, I still like bring disposable cameras with me, like on tour just to get candids. Like, I still have my film cameras. I bring them with me on tour. I don't necessarily post all the photos. They might just be for my memories, but you know, it just depends. Like,
what are the big advantages of shooting it? Why do people choose to shoot in film still?
Film really is like for like we grew up in a digital age, obviously. So it's like being like a digital photographer. It's like, I'm not going to say it's like super easy, but it's definitely not as like hard as shooting film. With film, you really have to understand the basics all the way to advanced photography. Like you have to really be comfortable with your settings. There's no checking the picture. You have to compose the image right. It's only one take. So it's like really like a true moment snatched in time. Like whenever I'm taking photos, like everywhere, like I'm taking burst photos. So there's like 20 moments, you know? So it's like you get that moment or you don't. It's more, and you're blessed. Like whenever you print, like you have a product in hand.
True.
So
Like,
you really took that. Like it's easy. Like I have thousands of photos in my phone. I barely post any of them. I just post like what I want or the best. So like I have so many photos that go unnoticed, unseen, and they're just on hard drives. So if you're like your printing is often and everything like that, it's better you just have your work in hand. You can appreciate it more.
Definitely.
Do you feel like, you said you started off on film, right? Do you feel like that helped you, is helping you now? Like just like you said with the
major
fundamentals?
Because I understood photography when I went into digital. I wasn't like trying to learn everything on digital. So
Overrated, underrated on the Producergrind Podcast with ShotBySpencer. Overrated, underrated, Red Cam.
Red Cam. Underrated. That thing's a beast. Like,
Talk about it.
yeah. Really lately, just on the past like 3 or 4 projects, we've been using the Red a lot. So like I've really seen like the notice in quality. We've used Blackmagics before on sets. I've seen never really like an RE. Like I'm a fan of Sony.
Sony makes ARRI?
The quality is great with the Red.
You said Sony makes ARRI?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I just don't use them.
Is there one particular feature or quality about that Red that stands out, or is it just overall?
Really just everything that you can do with it. Like just having the 8K is just a lot of footage. Like you can keyframe, like you have a lot of footage like to deal with. So like it helps having the extra resolution. The lenses, like if you use the right lenses on it, like you can really make a Red like look amazing.
Overrated, underrated on the Producergrind Podcast. Overrated, underrated with ShotBySpencer. Overrated, underrated. I'll say it one more time. Photography classes.
Photography classes. I would say it's underrated. I think that they are necessary, like for sure. Like whether how you get. I'm not saying that you need to go to a school for it, but I think that you should watch some type of tutorial and like learn right, like to an extent. Like it's definitely like to learn like the 3 like ISO, shutter speed, aperture. Like at least learn your camera and like why you're making these decisions to shoot, and like learn how to get it right in the camera instead of trying to do like overwork yourself in the edit. So some sort of photography classes, definitely.
Shouts out to Samo because he always likes to make sure he hammers that into my head. He taught me one time, and I kept asking him, "Don't ask me no more, L." Overrated, underrated, behind the scenes videographers.
I say overrated because sometimes like it just depends. Like I would say like behind the scenes, there's two different types. There's ones that are trying to learn, and there's ones that you pay to have. So I would say it's definitely like overrated for people that are just trying to get on set just to like take photos and run with it and do what they want to do with their photos. I'd say like,
okay. If I'm somebody out there that is trying to learn and does want to take that next step, like talk to me about protocol.
Yeah, like the etiquette.
Yeah, like how do I get on set? Who do I need to talk to? What do I do once I get on set?
How do you not be lame on set?
Right. What do I do with the footage and pictures when I get off set? All of that.
Really, yeah. really, it just protocol is really just be professional as possible. Like if you have a contact on set, that contact is obviously there for a reason. So they're gonna let you know what you can and can't do, like with your content. Like, so just don't get, just pretty much just be a fly on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like just stay out of the way, stay quiet, work. If you're there to work. Like don't just be like there to just, if you're a photographer and you're taking more photos on your phone than your camera, there's obviously you're there for the wrong reasons. So it's just be there to work, and you're obviously there to learn. So go ahead and find somebody on set that is possibly better than you and introduce yourself and tell them the reason that you're there, like your purpose. And most likely they're going to respect it and they're going to want to help you out. I don't know. I like helping people out. So somebody came up to me on set and was like, hey, I came here. He brought me here. I'm shooting. Like obviously like I'm going to give this person an opportunity. I'm going to say, okay, go ahead and get these portraits. Like we need this stuff. So it's like the content's appreciated. It's just going about it the right way.
Also, do you yourself do any tutorials or do you teach any type of class?
I've mentored, like I'm mentoring a few people right now, just that talk to me on a daily basis. And like, I kind of just give them advice and everything like that. I'm in the process of building my office at home so I can go ahead and start filming my own tutorials. gonna start doing vlogs, beefing up the YouTube. Really just want to start doing more like personal, like day in the life type stuff, behind the scenes, different, like there's a lot of tutorials out there. I believe that like I'm never going to do like a tutorial that you can just go on YouTube and find. Like I'm not going to just go just because a lot of people ask me a lot of the questions, like what are your camera settings and stuff like that? Like Google it, like go on YouTube. Like my camera settings are going to be no other than anybody else that's professional, because they're just like, once your exposure set, that's the right way. Like your style comes with the editing. So it's not like I'm shooting my settings at some different crazy settings out. Like it's just, it is what it is. It's just about capturing a shot, composition, and editing.
I saw that you you went up to like a cabin. You were thinking about having like some sort of like retreat with like photographers. Is that still something that you were looking into? Yeah, I would love to
do that. I'm not sure if I want to do it at a cabin. There's like a bunch of places. Like cabin would be cool. I wouldn't necessarily do it. I would like go more north, like up into the mountain. Like if I did it in a cabin, like I would do it in Aspen again. Like I stayed in Aspen with my girlfriend. Like we had a great time up there. So I would definitely do it up there. It's more to shoot. There's not too much in North Georgia. It's just.
I see your girlfriend's like on set with, she's your girlfriend, she's on set with you a lot. Does she like work in hand with you guys or with you, or she your assistant, or how does that work out?
On set, yeah, she's my personal assistant.
Oh, so what's up? How's that?
Yeah, so it's great. She knows me. She knows like what I need, like what, like she's into photography. Like I've been teaching her, so she takes behind the scenes photos and stuff like that. So it's definitely a necessity having her on set.
So just to put a wrap on Overrated, Underrated on the Producergrind Podcast with ShotBySpencer. Lastly, we have industry beef. Do photographers even have industry beef?
I would say so. Yeah. Like
all right, talk about it.
We were wondering if people
I try
get
to stay out
out
of it. Yeah. Like I've never really had like a beef with another photographer, but like I can see why people do. Definitely if like you take a photo and somebody posts it, like saying it's theirs, like. Definitely.
Like, what are some other things like people do that is just like foul?
Really,
I'm just curious. I don't really even know.
Sometimes, like I'm not necessarily speaking from stuff that happens to me. Like I talk to a lot of photographers, so like I'm just gonna go ahead and share like certain things that people do. Like so, one, if a photographer goes on your set and eventually tries to cut around you and go work with the client, just like using you to get on set to like work with them, like no, like that's not how stuff works. And most of the time, that photographer and that artist are close, so that artist can be like, yo, your boy hit me up. So it's just like it's simple like that. Right. I would say if they steal your work, if they try to pass it off as theirs, if they try to put it in their portfolio, if they try to copy a certain style. There's a person here in Atlanta, I'm not even gonna name names, but there's a person here in Atlanta that recently has developed like a really cool style of photography, like a certain like look. And I've already seen his images been bit by like a few other people. So that's really lame. Like, don't see what somebody is. Spudds McKenzie. Like everybody knows that he's taking like these really dope portraits of like people, and I've already seen people buy his work, and that's lame. So like give credit where it's due. Like if you personally, like if you like that look and you are like, okay, I want to do something similar, like go ahead and make it your own. Like don't do exactly what like he's doing, like, or that photographer's doing. Like there's a difference. Like you can be inspired, but you don't have to be a copycat.
Now, do you like watermark your photos, or how do you like protect yourself?
That's a huge, okay. I'm glad you asked that. Yeah. I'm done watermarking my photos, like as of this week.
Like the ShotBySpencer in the bottom?
Why so? Like I'm not, the past 2 times I've exported photos on my Lightroom are the first 2 times that I haven't put watermarks on my photos. I think that it is necessary whenever you're starting, to an extent. If it's small, if it's subtle, if it's in the corner, like the bottom lower corner, the bottom middle, that's fine. I'm not a fan of watermarks that go directly on the image. Like it looks spammy, it looks cheesy, it looks horrible. Like most of the time, like you're ruining the image. Like there's no need to have your watermark big right there. Like, and most people really don't care. Like you're only putting like that watermark's there for like, if the photo goes viral, like for instance, like you take a photo of Gucci Mane, like he's most likely not going to tag you, but you want your watermark so people know that you did that work. But the only people that are going to know are like really other photographers. So you're only putting that watermark there so other people in your industry, like in your lane, know, because the everyday person that's scrolling past a photo, they're not going to be like, oh, okay, like
Shot by Spencer.
Shot by Spencer. Okay, so like they don't even know me, so like it doesn't even matter to them.
You think it'll like help your exposure? Like, let's say you took a picture of Gucci and then you didn't have your watermark on it, and it got reposted and
it went like so.
Yeah.
Okay, for instance, like if I take a viral photo, I'm gonna make sure my watermark's there.
But how do you know if it's a viral photo?
Because one, like for instance, like if I'm working with an artist, like for instance, like I've been working with Dolph, like I don't feel in this like a need to watermark his photos anymore, especially like the ones that I send him. I don't know. It's just a thing that I've been thinking about for myself. Like I find myself cropping my watermark out of photos sometimes because I don't like it. So like I'm done. Like I don't need it. Like I feel like I've developed my style. I feel like if you look at a photo, like you can tell like if I took it. Yeah. Especially like whether it's the style that it's edited or if it's the artist that I'm shooting or working with or like working directly with. I don't know. Landscape photos, I don't like watermarking landscape photos. I don't see a purpose of it. Like nature photos, city photos, model photos. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just looks kind of like cheesy to a point. Like I'm done watermarking. This is like a decision that I made with myself this past week.
Very cool.
Yeah. Videos, yeah, that's necessary.
How do you watermark a video, or like what's your? In the intro?
I just like I have my logo, so like I'll just put my logo in the intro or the outro of the video. Like,
have you ever had people
directed by?
Have you ever had people like chop parts of your video out and then not give you credit for it, and they'll repost it?
Yeah.
How do you deal with them situations?
That was just really just. I'm gonna go ahead and just give this tip out. Like that was just me, just not like. Don't put your logo last or first. You'll never have that problem.
So wait, what? Don't put it at the beginning or the end? If you have like multiple
logos that you have to put on a video or credits or anything, just make sure your logo is not last or first. So put in the label logo first and then put yours after and then the video. They can't cut that out. And if they do, then like they're going to have, so just.
That's jewels right there.
Yeah, it's something weird.
Just don't put yours last or first. You won't have that problem. But most of the time, people that you're working with, if you're working with somebody, like most of the time, like, they're going to want you to put your logo there. Like they want you to receive credit. Like a lot of work goes into this, a lot of hours, like a lot of like time. So it's like, even if you're getting paid for it, like getting credit for it and like everything is necessary. Like if you go to the movies, like you see credits for people all the way down from the director to the snack person. They're all runners. They're all labeled. Everything. So
how does it
receive credit?
Or did you have a question, El?
No, go ahead, bro. I
was wondering, how does it work when you get like contracted out for like a major label, or like how do you get put on projects? How does that business side really go down?
Really? Like I've never worked with labels. Like the two main artists that I've worked with full time are both independent.
Oh, okay.
So it's really, they call the shots. They don't deal with labels. They don't deal with those. From what I've seen, like I think there's a lot of label favoritism in this industry. I think they choose like a lot of favoritism even over talent sometimes. So I've seen people miss opportunities so it's just like, there's people that work for a label, so they might just go with those people all the time. Like that's their people, like give other people opportunities. But I don't know. I just worked with independent artists. So it's just really,
what is it like
who they want to work with.
What is it like working with Dolph and like the whole culture at Paper Route? Like, what is that like?
It's dope. It's definitely a great opportunity. Like I enjoy it. Like it's a really good opportunity. Definitely like I've gotten a lot, like even more experience just like being within the past year, just like directing videos, like traveling, trusting my vision. There's artists on the label, Glock, Fizzle, Bino. So like I've worked not only with Dolph, like I've done all of Glock's videos except for like two. I've done all of his music videos. Like, so
when you first started off, was there like any adjustments that you guys had to get used to each other, or like were they real helpful? Been like, yo, I want to shot this way, or like, you know what I mean?
It was the transition like into working with them from like freelancing at the time. It was like really, really smooth. Like they're really cool artists to work with. They're very creative. Like Dolph, he's his own director. Like he's creative as fuck. So it's like he shot so many videos. So like he knows what looks, what angles he likes. He knows what he doesn't like. So like working with him on set, it's like it's definitely an easy like client to work with. Because he knows what he wants. So he just like tells you what he wants, like how he wants it, and just execute his vision. So it's like,
does he come up and watch footage and be like, now let's do that again? Is he real hands-on?
He's super hands-on. Yeah.
Was it like working with an artist that doesn't know what they want, or it's just like,
is it easier or harder?
I've worked with artists that know exactly what they want, artists that don't know what they want. Artists that don't know what they want, they're a lot pickier because they might necessarily not know what they want, but it's like, they don't know what they want, like you're giving them like, it just really depends. It's like if you don't know what you want and then you're given a body of work, there's like two ways you're going to take it. You're going to like really appreciate it. Like, that's cool. Like, I appreciate the direction, or you're just going to like be picky. So like, I found out that people like one that don't know what they want, like to an extent, like there's a difference. Like if they don't know what they want and they're undecided, then that's a problem client to work with. Avoid those. If they don't know what they want, but they're hiring you and they trust the vision, then you want to work with those people, because those are people who are going to let you flex your direction the most in your creativity. Like they're like, okay, well, here's the song. I don't know what I want, but I like your vision. Just go crazy with it. That's a director's dream, because now you have this client, you have a dope track, dope song, or whatever project to work on, and all of it gets to be you. So like, just depends.
And you typically write out like full treatments and stuff like that?
Yeah. I write out full treatments, everything like that.
So that definitely brings us to the next question, right? So, with entrepreneurs, we're always having these conversations in our own heads with other entrepreneurs, people who know the business. Like, how do I set my prices? When do I know if it's time to raise my prices? What advice can you give on that?
Okay, so it's obviously nobody knows like really like what your like what range, but it's just something that all of us struggle with, because it depends. There's a lot of different factors. Like there's a few things I want to talk about. Like one, don't underprice yourself. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Like if you know you have good work, don't just have low prices so you can keep getting jobs, because most likely you're not going to get jobs.
What's a low price?
Like it depends.
$200?
Yeah, like anywhere between the low end on like videos, I would say is like anywhere between like 50 all the way to 1,000. Like that's like low.
$50?
$50 to like 1,000. But what I'm saying is like if you have good work, don't undercut yourself, because most of the time, if you have good work, like there's people out there, there's bargain people, like bargain artists, they're just trying to find the cheapest person. And that's cool. But then there's also people that are waiting for the right person. So if you have good work and you're undercutting yourself, you might miss out on good jobs, because you have that person that wants to pay $2,000 to $3,000, right? And they might like your work, but they see that you're doing it for 200. They necessarily they want to pay for the quality. They don't want to just give you 200, So like if you just 300, like whatever, it's just.
So you're saying it's almost a way for the artists to separate themselves from the pack too.
Yeah. It's like, for instance, like in Atlanta, like there's artists out here that are like really cheap and that are like just whatever working day jobs and like just like paying off their paycheck. Like they can't afford the big videos and stuff like that. So there's some serious artists out here that are really cheap that I feel like go like they don't get their shine. And then also feel like there's people out there that are just cheap, like trying to go cheap. But then there's also artists out here that are really like making stuff happen for themselves, and they have a lot of money, or they have a person behind them willing to spend money. So it's like there's different levels, and I think that you should charge for where you think your level is. Like go online, look like, if you have some of the best work, you shouldn't be charging cheap. And if you have like really low work, you shouldn't be trying to like tax people.
Now that makes me think though. So how do you find that balance, especially like a videographer from like a small city? You know what I mean? Like I'm from Rochester, where like the average video is like $150, $200. You know what I mean? And there's no one that's really willing to pay more than that. So how do you find that balance? Like, because there's a lot of videographers and photographers out here that really need that extra income. And shoot, if I can go make an extra $200 Saturday, for 4 hours and, a couple hours of editing, how do you find that balance?
Right. I would say whatever you feel happy with. Like if, like for instance, like if you want to go out and shoot a video for like $500 and you feel like you deserve like that money, and like you feel like you weren't cheated or like you've overworked, then I would say that's fine. But really, like it comes into a lot of things. Like knowing your talent is like most important. So like you should be able to like look online and like see what the top people are doing, the top tier people, medium tier. Like you should be able to place yourself and know kind of like what level you're on, right? And then just go from there. Like it depends on the artist, it depends on the vision. Like don't be afraid to do free work, because you might go and do a free video for artists that might not have a budget, but they have a good song. And you might go kill that free video. And like if you're doing a free video, it better be your full like treatment and direction. That's one thing. Like don't do a free video and then have somebody just be like, okay, this and just being super picky and worky. You know what I'm saying? Like just depends. But if you're doing that free work, like really flex on that video, and then that might get you 10 jobs down the road. So it's like you're still getting paid for that video. It's just you might have just not got paid that day.
So speaking of levels, right? If I'm a beginner, right? So there's a couple of things I'm thinking about, right? A lot of times people feel like they need the best and most expensive equipment to get their video career started. Should a beginner drop a big bag? Like, what's a good price point if I'm just getting started?
That really goes back into like the budget thing that you're saying. So if you're already shooting videos and stuff and you feel like you need new gear and like you're not satisfied with what yours, one, you probably should be charging more because you're trying to invest in yourself. And two, you definitely need to go get that gear. Like, gear's not going to make you better. That's one thing that I'll tell you right now, because I can go out and still shoot better videos. And a lot of these people out here shooting on brand new Sonys and stuff with like a T5i.
I was going to ask you,
like,
you can make a shake with a Rebel.
You know, like it's definitely it, because there's people out here that are buying all of this nice gear and they're still shooting on auto. And it's like it's funny. Like I swear, like I see people shooting in the clubs and stuff, and their cameras on auto, but they got a $4,000 setup. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, so they just like feel like they have to. You know,
Can we
like they
switch out
have
his
to.
chips? Is that
No, it's just
doing-
my foot.
Oh,
Keeps
it's your
hitting. I got
foot.
big
Oh,
feet.
okay. I thought it was
size
doing
13. I
automatic.
keep hitting his butt. But yeah, but like really, just like. I feel like it's a tool. So if you're doing good and you're doing a lot of work and you're busy, you need the best tool to do what you're doing. But if you're just trying to learn, like don't go out and buy all that gear, and like definitely don't go and spend it all on a camera. Like get a cheap camera and get a bunch of good lenses.
What's the perfect starter camera and starter lens?
Perfect starter camera right now, I would say I'm not paid by Sony. Like I'm not like working with them. I just push it because that's what I use right now. Like I like Sony, like Canon. Either Canon or Sony, but for like mirrorless, like Sony's killing right now. I'd say like an A7 III or like my like A6500, A6300 starter camera, A6300 right now.
What's that going for right now? You know,
like under 1,000, like yeah, under 1,000, right?
So
like probably like 800 or something like that. Like A6300, A6500, great starter cameras. For Canon, probably like a 60D, I think. I don't really use Canon that much, but.
So we're sitting at a table full of people that all have bought cameras, know a little bit something about cameras. So I just want to ask a question to the table. What was your first camera?
My first camera for film was a Minolta X700, and for digital a Nikon D3100. Well, a Nikon Power Shot, like a low point and shoot, and then a D3100.
Carrington?
Shit, I got a little vintage Olympus over there. I just got that one.
Film?
Yeah, just got it. It was like $35. I was like, shit, why not? I was like, definitely. Yeah, definitely got it.
I had a T3i. My mom bought it for me for Christmas way back. I used it like twice though, and then I got the 70D, and I had that for a minute, and then we got the new stuff though.
Great minds think alike. I started with the T3i, and then moved on to the 70D.
I wanted it so bad. I like begged my mom. I was like, Mom, please.
Yeah. That T3i was legit though, because like I used to go to those.
Started with that.
I used to go to schools like video yearbooks and shit. I wore that T3i out, and it was durable because I used to let like kids use it and stuff too. Yeah, man.
Nikon was annoying for video. I shot 2 Gates videos on a Nikon though. Nobody knows that. Nikon D5200, the 2 videos that we shot overseas. Castle and Not the Only One. Yeah, the Not the Only One, and then the Castle, the 2 ones overseas. Like one was in Germany, one was in Brussels.
You
Yeah, I
put
had a
the sauce on
Nikon.
that bitch.
I did his whole first tour without a viewfinder.
Damn.
Yeah. It broke like 2 days before the tour.
Shit.
Nikon. Yeah.
How many
Nikon issues.
How many cameras do you own?
Right now, I have 3 film cameras, 2 are working, and then I have my Sony A7S2 and my Sony A7R2. I got 2.
So that brings us to the Factor on the Producergrind Podcast. Shot by Spencer. This is the Factor, where you will have 30 seconds to talk about the topic that we give you. You cannot stop for longer than a second. You can't say or ah. And your topic today is everything you know about shooting a music video. Shot by Spencer. Are you ready?
Starting just everything I know about shooting a music video.
Everything you know about shooting a music video from start to finish in 30 seconds.
Start to finish?
Yeah.
All right.
Shot by Spencer. You're on the Factor on the Producergrind Podcast. You have 30 seconds. Are you ready? Set. Go.
All right. Listen to the song 10 times or even more. Write the treatment. Cast the models. Location scout.
20 seconds.
Get the props. Set the shoot date. Get on set. Set up. Set lighting. Shoot the video. Review the footage.
10.
Organize footage, edit, export, review, push out the final product.
3, 2, 1. Okay. So you had to do like those last 3 seconds, but that was pretty dope. That was
perfect, like perfect advice. Like, yeah, that was good though.
Ran the whole thing down, what? Less than 30 seconds.
You said you went overseas with Kevin Gates, right, for to shoot those videos. What was it like overseas? Like,
yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely a different experience. People are definitely different over there. I'll say in a more positive way. Yeah, it kind of made you realize like America's got a lot of stuff to work on.
Did you meet any like videographers or photographers over there, or like anybody like in your same field over there?
Yeah, I did.
And was their work like super different, or like what'd you learn from their work?
I just met like people at the clubs and stuff like that, or like people that hit me on social media. I feel like it's just totally different. Like
what the way they edit, or
I wouldn't say like the style or anything. I would just say like what they shoot or like what they're trying to do. Like they're just like, I don't know. It's totally different. I feel like it's just a completely different music. It's like they might be in the music. I don't know any of the artists that they shoot or anything like that. It's just totally different. So it's like different when they have an American artist come over there and they're trying to shoot like the American artist. Like I've just really, yeah, it's really different. Like,
so it's like a European style music video and it's an American style music video.
Oh yeah.
And you can definitely tell the difference. Have you ever shot any other genres of like music videos? Because I know in Europe, like it's big on the like electronic music and stuff.
No, I've never shot. I would say that there's like a really like I don't know what the director's name, but there's an artist overseas named Fredo, and he's like I think he's from London and he has hip hop videos and they're like hip hop trap. I've never seen that over there, so it was like cool to see like the American style hip hop video like applied to like a London trap artist. It's like that was really cool. I would definitely like to go over there and work with like artists overseas for sure.
Definitely,
that'd be really cool.
Definitely.
So have you ever like lost footage like while working on a big project or like had a battery die in the middle of the shoot, all that?
Not press record.
Press record.
Oh my gosh, yeah, all of that. Yeah, all of that really. I was shooting one of my first like shows. I just didn't know what I was doing and I was low on memory cards and I used a micro SD and an adapter in my camera. Yeah. And I went home and it was just, everything was just corrupted. Like I couldn't pull anything off of it. Yeah.
Was it a paid job or was it?
Yeah, it was paid. So,
so how'd you pivot?
It was supposed to be paid, but.
That's how you pivot.
There was no pivot.
Pivoted away from that paycheck.
Right. Have you ever had that happen on like
not hit record? Yeah, that's happened because Sony's record button is possibly in the worst spot ever invented. Not gonna lie, like right there, like it's like this little like dot like over here by your thumb. It's just annoying. So there's definitely times that I've been recording for like 5 minutes and not knowing it, and then going to shoot like a live shot. Like this only happens in concerts because you're running around like crazy, like on video sets and like stuff like that. Like you really like have more idea what's going on, but just running around, like I've been filming it for like 5 minutes and it's just a bunch of like my feet running everywhere. And then like, I think I'll go to shoot the artist and I'll hit record and it's like, I just cut the recording.
Just turn it off.
Oh, that's ouch.
So lost footage. Yes. Plenty of times. Mostly from police. Just issues.
Police will take away your footage.
Like they confiscated.
They'll come after you specifically.
Well, no, I mean like I just had like we had like
a videographer.
Yeah, there's like police, like Hollywood police have a memory card right now with like a bunch of like dope stuff on it. But
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, just a traffic stop. I was recording them.
Oh, okay.
Is that even legal?
What they did? No, they not allowed to take my gear.
Because you're allowed to record, right?
I know. Yeah, they tried taking my camera and everything, and then like yeah,
that's pretty.
And
bold.
I just like
that's pretty bold.
Yeah, and I just made up a fake law in my head that I thought like I was like
under Constitution number 6.
Yeah, because like I was mad, like I was irate. Like they took my camera and everything, and like I just snapped and I asked to speak to the sergeant, and I was like, you can't take the device that recorded. You can only take the device like with the recording card. So if you're gonna confiscate for what's on it, you can only take the memory card. You can't take the camera. And they talked about it and they gave me my camera back. So,
for real, sold them on a law. Shit, you did sound like a lawyer.
First of all, that's dope. Second of all, it's going to show you the dumbass police don't even know the damn law.
That would have been so extra. They took the whole thing.
LA, Hollywood. Yeah.
Damn.
You
don't play, huh?
Mm-hmm. So what's next for you in 2018, bro?
Really don't know. and just going hard right now, working, like seeing, like, you know, like.
I guess the path of a videographer.
I know my goals. Like, I know I want to beef up my YouTube. I know I want to like really like start doing that. I know I want to mentor more people, possibly do a mentorship program. I want to get more involved like with other photographers and everything like that. I definitely want to work with more artists. Just keep working and brand, like expanding and like building my brand. I definitely want to do some more stuff like outside of music. Like, I would love to work on like a film, like, or like short film or like something like that. Like, I know like Marvel and like a lot of like different like film companies, like they're shooting a lot of movies out here. So it'd be cool to just go and get on set and just learn about that stuff. Maybe assist.
Yeah, for sure.
Take behind the scenes stills.
Yo, that reminds me. Remember yesterday we were looking, I'm trying to remember the guy's name that had the dope After Effects thing with the dude in the red cape standing.
Justin Leduc.
Do you know this dude?
Yeah, I saw him blow up over. Dude, he had like 13,000 followers. He posted that, like, went viral. I think he's got like 380 now or something.
Damn,
like that.
what is it? What happened?
I think his name's, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. His first name is Justin.
I saw that a Game had posted it, then Complex posted it, Fader, everybody posted it. He did something, and you said you thought it was Adobe After Effects.
Cinema 4D.
Oh, Cinema 4D. It's like a Grim Reaper on the...
Yeah, but it's like, it looks insane. Like, it looks so real. Like,
Do you ever get into any animation? Do you do any animation, Spencer?
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, that's crazy.
That shit went crazy. All Cinema 4D. Yeah.
You ever do any animation like that, or you?
No, I've never done any animation.
It's like a whole different beast.
It's a whole different, like.
What about After Effects?
After Effects, yeah. After Effects and Premiere Pro. Like, really like Key Glock's Russian Cream. All the snow that was in that was After Effects. So, like, I just masked all that in. It took a while. That's really like the only video that I've done like certain like crazy effects like on that.
Now, typically with artists, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe that's unreleased. Do you have anything that's set to drop that you can talk about or anything like that?
If you've been watching my Instagram, just know that me and Dolph have been filming like
A lot.
Yeah, we've been filming a lot. Like me, him, Iconic, and Ray, Isaiah, and Ray. Yeah, that's us three women.
So where can we find you on Instagram?
ShotBySpencer.
Twitter, Facebook.
ShotBySpencer, YouTube, ShotBySpencer, everything ShotBySpencer.
That's what it is, man.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Definitely, man. Another dope episode of Producergrind Podcast. Signing out.
That's what it is.